Designer by Your Side Services is growing in popularity, and it is a service that I have offered since I started my business over 10 years ago. I'm Claire Jefford, certified interior decorator and business coach, and today I'm going to share with you what are the 3 elements that you need to consider before you even set your menu of services, as well as what is Designer by Your Side, what does that actually mean, and what are the pros and cons? I'm going to break it all down for you here today. I also have a free download which you're going to find super helpful. It's for establishing your design services and rates. So make sure you stick around to the end of the video and I will share links to that. All right, I always like to share this as a business coach. It's really important. These next 3 things I want you to consider before you establish your menu of services. Number 1, what are your goals? Don't worry about what anyone else is doing, what anyone else is saying. What are your goals for your business? Second is, what is your personal situation like? So you may be doing this as a side hustle, or maybe you have little ones at home, or maybe you're taking care of an elderly parent. And so you may not be able to do full-on custom design and project management services. So I always want you to consider that. And this really falls into my 3rd consideration, which is don't worry about what other people think. You do you. Are you ready? Let's do this. So what is Designer by Your Side Services? Well, I've been offering this, as I mentioned at the start of the video, for over 10 years now since starting my business. I used to call it as and when you need me. It's often referred to as well as Designer on Call or Designer on Demand, but I really like the Designer by Your Side. It doesn't sound as though like I'm there at the drop of a hat. I'm working with my clients. I'm helping them through the process of an interior design or decorating project. I work in 20-hour blocks of time, so that's what I would sell to my clients and say you're going to have my services for a minimum of 20 hours. You could go down to 10, anything less than that, and you're really in the designer for a day. So just make sure that you're very clear on how many hours, but nothing less than 10 because the Designer by Your Side, it will go by so fast. And like I said, you just then defer to Designer for a Day services. You know me, I'm a stickler for always getting paid up front, so make sure you get payment up front for your services. It could be for the full 20 hours or you could do 50% up front just to make sure that you're not going out doing services. We hear this in my group a lot where then people are chasing payment, the client's not paying them, they've gone AWOL, and it's just never a nice place to be. So get your payment up front. Your client will respect you more for it. And for this service, you will also need a contract. It's still really important, even if you're not purchasing, but I do have contract templates that include the purchasing as part of this service. So if you're interested in that, you don't want to start from scratch, I can absolutely help you. We also have a marketing tool, which is great, which has a lot of frequently asked questions on the service itself, which is a great way to be able to sell your service to your clients and be able to tell them the advantages and the benefits of hiring you for this Designer by Your Side service. All right, so let's start with the pros of this Designer by Your Side service. And number 1 is that it's great if you're just starting out. That's what I loved about it when I started my business. I was like, sure, I'll offer you my as and when you need me services. It also allows you to get your foot into the door, and often it leads to larger projects. I was actually just doing a live Goodwill in my Facebook group, Interior Design Business Strategies. It's an exclusive group for designers. If you're not already there, then join the 5,400 members already. Links will be below. And I did a Goodwill, and as I was doing my live Goodwill, I had people commenting going, yes, yes, this just happened. They said that they've been working with a client in this sort of capacity, and now the client wants to hire them for a full kitchen project or full basement project. And so this does get your foot in the door. So don't be too quick to close the door on Designer by Your Side because it can open a lot more doors for you in the future. This service also gives you a great opportunity for experience. You're going to experience so many different types of projects, and they'll lead to the bigger projects, hopefully, but it's going to help you with time tracking. How should you be time tracking? It's going to help you where you're going to supply for your vendors. It's going to get your foot in the door, give you that experience, then you're going to figure out what you love about it and what maybe you don't love so much. And that's the beauty of running your own business. You can then later pick and choose the services you want to offer. The Designer by Your Side also allows you flexibility. So I mentioned at the top of the video, you may be looking after elderly parents, or maybe you have little ones, or maybe this is your side hustle and you have a full-time job. You don't have the same commitments that you would have for a custom design and project management, so this offers that flexibility in your schedule. And the last pro, of course, your business has to be profitable. So this is a profitable little moneymaker that you can have as a service. So far in the past year, and we're talking COVID right now, so I'm just going to say 3 clients that I've been working with made over $30,000 billed just for services for this specific service. So we haven't purchased anything. That was specifically for my hourly rate. So don't discount this, especially if you're looking to, obviously we want to earn some money in our business, but if you've been struggling otherwise trying to land those bigger projects, start off with these smaller ones because you can still make some great money from it. All right, Claire, but what's the cons to this service? Yes, there are some cons. We're going to lay them out here right now. For the designer by your side services, clients tend to want to be more hands-on, which you may not like so much. So you don't have as much control over the project. Sometimes you may find that they're being piecemealed, and so there's just little bits of the project that you're doing and some things that the client's doing. And so that may be something that doesn't interest you, and I totally appreciate that. It also means that you may not get the final photo. There may be things that were compromised throughout the project. Maybe the client chose a light fixture that you don't really love or that you don't think is the right skill or style for the project, but because you're not in total control, then this is what can happen. The clients can go a little bit rogue. So it's definitely a downside for it, but I will say that having offered this, as I said, over 10 years in my business, there's definitely some fabulous projects that I've been able to photograph. And I've worked with the clients quite closely, even if I haven't managed the trades or bought all of the furnishings. You may also find that with the designer by your side services, there may be some money constraints, and maybe the investment or the budget that the client has isn't as much as it would be for a full custom project. And that can obviously have challenges as well, but sometimes a challenge is good. And you need to know yourself. If you know yourself that you want to have control of this project, that you want to be overseeing every single detail, you don't want some other trade coming in that you don't know who that is, then this service will not be for you. And you will want to only focus your marketing efforts on full service design. So always keep that in mind. And the last thing that I want to say about designer by your side services, this is really quite funny, and I heard this from a designer that I was coaching recently. I have to give her credit here, Christine Gardner, and she said she feels like the designer by your side service would be like foreplay without the sex. I tend to agree. I think it's a great analogy, and you're left feeling like a frustrated lover if you don't quite get to the end, you don't get that result, dare I say climax. So anyway, I'm gonna leave you on that note here, and don't forget to go and get my design, services, and rate sheet. It's absolutely free. I'm gonna add links in the description below, and I hope that you will subscribe to my channel for more clarity in your interior design business, and we like to have some fun here too. I'll see you next time. Cheers. Sometimes the designer by your side can feel like foreplay without the sex.